Hey everyone, it's Eliza here. So, long time no see. Today in this video, I'm going to be answering a few questions you guys have asked me for this Q&A video. Also, before I get started, excuse Miss Kyoko here. I know her hair is like kind of a mess and she doesn't look that great right now. So, I apologize for that. Anyways, let's get into the questions. Right, so the first question I have here is from Kira.hope on Instagram, and she asked, what was your first doll? And my first doll was Kit. Alright, so these next questions come from a post I put up on Google+, and so these are the questions that were asked. And so the first question is from AMRADZ, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your username, and she asks, are you an only child? And no, I am not an only child. I have a younger sister. So this next question is from SG Doll Channel, and she asks, which one of your dolls is your favorite? And so I kind of have two favorite dolls right now, and my two favorites as of this moment are Miss Kyoko right here, and then my newest doll, which I don't think any of you have really seen unless you follow me on Instagram, and she is a custom Marie Grace doll. Okay, so this next question comes from AG Purple Penguins, and she asks, if you could get one new doll, which one would it be? And I have a lot of dolls that I would really like, but a lot of the dolls that I want would be customized. But the doll I currently want that I would not be customizing is Truly Me number 47. Alright, so this next question is from AMRADZ, and she asks, what's your favorite Be Forever historical doll? And I have two historical dolls, so I'm just going to say those two are both my favorites, and the two historical dolls I have is Addie and Kit. Okay, and this last question off of Google Plus is from MsAGs, and she asks, what was the last day you went to the AG store? And the last day I went to the AG store was all the way back at the beginning of January, and I believe it was January 4th. So those are all the questions from my Google Plus post. So these last few questions come from my Q&A announcement on my channel. And so these first few questions come from Sugar and Spice Dolls, and she asks, which doll is your favorite? And my favorite doll is currently Juliet, who is my custom Marie Grace doll, who you guys haven't seen unless you follow me on Instagram, as I've said before, and Miss Kyoko right here. Then her next question is, who was your first doll? And my first doll was the lovely Kit Kittredge. And then she asks, what is your favorite TV show? And she already knows this. My favorite TV show is Supernatural, and it is honestly the best TV show ever. So if you guys don't watch Supernatural, if it looks like it appeals to you, you should go out right now, get Netflix, and if you already have Netflix, go on to Netflix and go watch Supernatural right now, because it is so good and you all should watch it. Then her last question is, how many dolls do you have? And I currently have 11 American Girl dolls and counting. Alright, so these next questions come from Sugar Cookie Productions, and she asks, what's your favorite Starbucks drink for the winter? And I haven't actually been to Starbucks at all this winter, but my favorite would probably be the peppermint frappuccino. Then her next question is, which piece of clothing is your favorite for winter? And so I'm assuming she's talking about me and not my dolls. And my favorite article of clothing for winter, I have this gray sweater, and it is honestly the cutest, and it is my favorite. And then, which doll is the most photogenic for winter? And I don't really know. because I've only taken photos of 2 of my dolls during the winter of last year. I took photos of Kyoko right here and my McKenna doll, and they were both really photogenic in those. But I'm honestly not sure because I haven't taken photos of all my dolls during the winter, so that's something I have yet to find out. Okay, so these next questions come from Ode to AG, and she asks, how do you get motivated to make videos? And I don't know, like if it is a nice day out and I wake up early enough and there seems to be a lot of time during the day and I have nothing really planned, I sort of just try to tell myself that I can do it, and then I get my camera out, figure out what I want to do, and then I just try and film for as long as I can before I get bored and then just move on to something else. Then she asks, what camera do you use? And I use the Olympus VG-120. But I am getting a new camera for Christmas, so, you know, that'll be fun. Alright, so these next questions come from E. Fisher. And her first question is, if your house was on fire and you could only grab one doll on the way out, which would it be? And the one doll I'd probably grab on my way out is Juliet, because although I love all my dolls, Juliet, which is my customary Grace doll, she is definitely my favorite, as I've said before, so I would have to get her out of the fire because she is just really special to me. Alright, so her second question is, what do you like about winter? And what I like about winter is I love the cozy feeling it gives you. Because when it snows or if it's just like a cold, rainy day, I just love the feeling of just snuggling up in a blanket, reading a book, having the fireplace on, drinking hot chocolate. Like, it's just a really nice feeling that winter gives. The third question is, what don't you like about winter? And what I don't like about winter is I definitely don't like the scenery. Like, the scenery is really awful for photos. I mean, if it snows, that's a nice scenery, but when it hasn't snowed, the scenery in winter is really gross because, like, the grass is all dead, the leaves have already fallen off all the trees, and it's just not really pretty. Right, so her fourth question is, when is your favorite time of the year to take photos of your dolls? And my favorite time of the year is definitely spring and fall. Alright, and her last question is, during the winter, are you the one playing outside in the snow or hanging out with your family inside playing games and drinking hot chocolate? Alright, so I'm kind of a mixture of both, but I think recently I've become more of like an indoor winter person. Because last winter when it snowed, I did go outside and I took photos and I did go sledding a bit, but recently though I've wanted to stay inside more than go play outside. And when I do go outside in the snow to play, it's just for a very short time because I get bored and cold very easily, so then I end up heading back inside. So I'm kind of a mixture of both, but recently I've definitely become more of a indoor winter person. Alright, so those are all of her questions. Alright, so these last questions come from Haven West, and her first question is, what inspires you? And I'm just going to assume what inspires me to make videos. I usually get inspired for video ideas by videos other age YouTubers have made, from TV shows, books, music, just any of that. Okay, and then her second question is, who are your YouTube idols? And my YouTube idols are all age YouTubers, and they would probably be Basil Mentos, 5 Doll Stars, and AG Pals, and Rockstar 13 Studios. Okay, and then her last question is favorite songs. And so my favorite songs is probably Bite, Ease, and Youth by Troye Sivan. And then my other favorite songs would probably be Carousel, Training Wheels, and Cake by Melanie Martinez. And then I also really love Carry On Wayward Son by Kansas, which is like a classic rock song. That concludes all the questions that I received from you guys, so I hope you enjoyed this Q&A video. Bye!
To the basics and the simple life. So we all know the things that make you feel at ease. Your touch, my comfort, and my love.